This is the third video of a 4-part series about installing and setting up an Amiga Workbench installation in WinUAE. In this video, I'll show you how to format a hard drive image, install Workbench, and install patches and other useful software. I've tried to keep command line usage to a minimum. Most of what needs to be done is with Workbench scripts or a text editor. All you need is a copy of Workbench 3.1 and the installer pack from the link below, which is the same for all of these videos. Let's begin. You have a choice between a hard file and a directory for the main drive. First, you'll need to format the hard file. Set an Amiga 4000 in the Quick Start and insert the Workbench 3.1 install disk. Go to CD and Hard Drives and click Add Hard File. Type the size of the hard file you want here and click on Sparse File and Dynamic HDF over here. Then click Create and save it. Click on Full Drive/RDB mode as well. Now you can start the emulation. Open the Install 3.1 disk and open the HD Tools drawer. Click on HD Toolbox and open the menu bar by holding right-click and select Information under the Icons menu. Click here and change this to SCSI device name equals UAEHF.device. Click Save. You can now open HD Toolbox. Click Change Drive Type and then define new drive type and then read configuration from drive. Click on the drive and click OK. Click Partition Drive. It always sets up two partitions on the drive, so click on the rightmost partition and click Delete Partition. Then click and hold on the arrow and drag it all the way to the right. Then delete the U letter here and click OK. Save changes to the drive and now you can reboot by holding Ctrl Insert Home on a PC keyboard. Click on the NH0:NDOS disk and go up to the menu bar and select Format Disk under Icons. Change the name of the disk to Workbench and click Quick Format. Restart WinUAE completely. I'm setting this to a 68040 Amiga 4000. Under ROM, you should select New UAE 128K Direct. Under RAM, I'm setting it to 64 megabytes of Z3 fast RAM. Turn on all your floppy drives. If you're using a hard file, click Add Hard File and add it up here. If you want to use the directory on your PC instead of a hard file, you should set the device name to DH0 and the volume label to Workbench. Regardless, you'll need another shared directory to use the setup pack, so set the device name for that to DH1 and set the volume label to whatever you want. Select the directory where the setup pack was extracted to and unset the bootable flag. Go to Expansions and set bsdsocket.library and UAE-SCSI.device. Then go to RTG board and select UAE-03. Set your video RAM. I set it to 32 megabytes. Go to Miscellaneous and click on Clipboard Sharing. Then go up to Configuration and save the configuration. Now go to the floppy drives and insert the Workbench 3.1 install, boot, locale, and extras disks. Click Start and it'll boot. Open Install 3.1, the install drawer, and double-click the language you want to install. Click on Intermediate User. Never click on Novice User for any Amiga installers. It should be set to install to the Workbench drive. If not, change it. For printers, I select Epson, HP, and PostScript, as I believe WinUAE has emulation for those, but you can select whichever ones you want. Select your key mapping here. Now it'll start copying stuff. Now hit F12 and replace the Workbench boot disk and locale disks with the fonts and storage disks and click OK. Hit F12 and eject all the disks, then click OK. Now click Proceed and it'll reset. I like to set backdrop mode by going to the Workbench menu and selecting Backdrop, and then selecting Snapshot All from the Window menu. Next, open the Workbench drive, the Prefs drawer, and then open Screen mode. Switch to Interlace mode and save. Now open the Tools drawer and then Commodities. Select Click to Front and go to Information under the Icons menu. Click on the Qualifier tool type and change it to Qualifier equals None and hit Return. Then click on New and type Activate equals 1 and hit Return, then save. Now open the WB Startup drawer and move Click to Front into it. This will let you be able to double-click on windows to move them in front of other windows. I'm snapshotting the window here, so I don't have to move it down every time. Now go to the 3.1 installers drawer in your shared folder and run the 01-initial script. Now you can reset. Now run the second script. Reset again. Now run the 03-Picasso96 script. Open the Picasso 96 install drawer on the RAM disk and run the setup program. Click No unless you want to read the manual. Click the default install locations. When it says Work Picasso 96, select the storage drawer on your Workbench drive. Start clicking Yes and proceed to everything. When it gets to Picasso 96 mode, you can skip this and the next dialog. Keep clicking Proceed from here. Reset. Go back to Prefs and Screen mode. And now you can select whatever screen mode you want to use. Be sure to set the colors to the maximum. Now run the 04-Reddit KingCon script. Open the Tools drawer in the Workbench drive and move and snapshot the Emacs icon. Then move REdit into its place. We'll install the software to display its icon later. Next, open the KingCon drawer and run the installer. Type Y here. Now open REdit. Open User Startup in the S drawer. Enter sys/system/rexmast nil at the top. Next, enter assign con dismount and assign raw dismount here. Finally, delete the K from in front of kcon and kraw. Now you can save and reset. Run the O5-magic menu-wb.2 script. Open the WB startup drawer on the Workbench drive and move Magic Menu over to it. Next, open Prefs and move Magic Menu Prefs there. Open WB.2, select WB.doc, and go to Information under the Icons menu. Select the config tool type and add an S: in front of wbdoc.config and hit enter. Then click Save. Move WBdoc to WB Startup, followed by Apps, DocBrush, Patterns, and Skins. The ones that disappeared don't have .info files, so they're only visible by showing all files. Reset again. You now have a doc. To configure it, you click on the gadget at the left and go to the menu bar. You can change the style here. Click on Add Item to add stuff to it. I'm going to add REdit to it for now. Now, save the config. If you want to change the order of icons on the dock, you'll have to manually edit the config file. Open wbdoc.config under the S drawer. You can just cut and paste items to change the order, and then save. Next, go to Magic Menu Prefs. You can change the mouse button usage with these. I like to use double borders and transparency down here. Then click Save. May as well reset now. Now run the 06 MUI1 script. Go to the MUI drawer on the RAM disk and run the installer. Install it to your Workbench drive. Reset again. Run MUI from the MUI drawer on your Workbench drive. You can change the preset by using the Open menu and then clicking Save. Now run the 07-MUI-2 script. Now open the MCC speedbar drawer on the RAM disk. Run the installer. Reset. Next, run the 08-ClassAct2 script. Open the ClassAct drawer on the RAM disk. Run Install Classes. Just click Yes and proceed for everything. Reset. Run the 09-ClassAct3 script. Type A here. Reset. Open Class Act under Prefs to set your preferences for Class Act programs. Now run the 10-NewIcons4 script. Open the NewIcons4 drawer and installer drawer on the RAM disk, and then install new icons. At this point, click No. Click Yes here. Click Proceed, and then select the icon you want for your Workbench drive. Click Yes again, then repeat for the other drives on the system. Click No when you're done with that. Click Proceed. Open REdit and then open the startup sequence. Add C patch OpenWB before the iPrefs line. Save and reset. Note the new icons, including the REdit icon. Go to Prefs and open New Icons Prefs. Click on all of these and click Save. Reset again. Now the borders around the icons will be gone. Now run 11-swazinfo full palette. Go into the swazinfo drawer on the RAM disk and run the installer. It'll give you an error, but it's irrelevant. Now go to full palette and run the installer. Install this to the C drawer. Install the documentation to the help drawer. Click Yes here. Reset. At this point, the palette settings will have been changed to fix the colors of the magic WB icons. Now run the 12-iconlib script. This installs a library to deal with any and all icons you might want to use. Now run 13-libraries. Now go to Rec Tools on the RAM disk and run the installer. Next, open the Rec Tools drawer and run the installer for that. Reset. Run 14-data types. First, open the AK ping data type drawer and run the installer. Here, you can select a valid drive. I selected the Workbench drive. You don't need to change these settings. Next, open the JFFDT drawer. Here, you open the Classes, then Data Types drawers. Then you open the Classes and Data Types drawers on the Workbench drive, and you move the data type into the Workbench data types. Open Devs and Data Types on the Workbench drive, and do the same over here, then move it into the Workbench window. Reset. Run the 15 xadd WinUAE script. Open the xadd drawer on the RAM disk and run the installer. Install the docs to the help drawer. Open the XFD user drawer and run this installer. Reset. You should also add WinUAE to WBDoc. Go to the Utilities drawer and select it. It'll throw an error message right here, but you can fix it by going to Settings and saving. WinUAE will let you extract stuff with the GUI instead of a command line. Now run the 16 visual pref script. Go to the visual prefs drawer on the RAM disk and run the installer. Install it to the prefs drawer. Install the docs to the help drawer. Select the processor type you're using. Here, it's a 68040. Select your icon type here, preferably new icons or glow icons. Reset. To change the configuration for that, you run GUI under prefs. I have no idea what any of this stuff does, but you should be able to change almost anything about the GUI that you want with it. Then there's the 17 Translator Script, which adds extra languages to the speech generation. Go to Translator on the RAM disk and run the installer. Here you can choose the default accent. Now go down here to install a patch for that. Reset. If you want CD support, run 18-AMI CDFS. Once you've run it, open REdit and open devs, DOS drivers, and CD0. Change the device to UAE SCSI.device and unit to 0. Then there's the 19-executive-1 script, which adds a task manager. Go into the executive drawer on the RAM disk and run the language you're using to install it. Select your Workbench drive here. Choose your icon type here. If you use any of these programs, you can select them here. Reset. Now run the 20-executive-2 script. Right now, we're at Kickstart 40.68 and Workbench 40.42. We can also upgrade these. First, run 21-Amiga ROM update. If you reset, Notice booting takes longer as it has to soft kick the new ROM image. Your Kickstart version will now be at 45.57. Now you can run 22-extra updated libraries if you downloaded the necessary 3.9 Boing bag. This updates a few more libraries. Reset again. Your Workbench version will be at 45.5, which is needed for the final installer script. Notice that your RAM disk icon is gone. You can fix this by opening the information dialog and saving. You can now run 23-bench trash, which will add a trash can in the desktop. Run the installer in it. Click No here, as clicking Yes will break the script. Unclick the languages you don't want. Install the docs to the help drawer. Be sure to read the docs for this because it's complicated to set up properly. Reset yet again. You can now move the trash can where you want it and snapshot it to save the location. You can configure it by going into your WB startup drawer and changing the tool types under information. Yeah, one last thing I kind of forgot to do here. Open REdit and then the startup sequence. Add cpatch RAM here after the make dir RAM entry. Now it'll show you the proper RAM disk usage, and with the updated Workbench, you'll see a fuel gauge on the left of the windows, much like Workbench 1.3. There's one more video in this series about converting images into Amiga format for use as desktop backgrounds. If you like this, subscribe to my channel, as I've got at least one more installation tutorial video coming up, and see you next time!